if the wind could
Hi guys,
spread your
welcome
light?
back. This is the second week of my 30, 60, 90 day sketchbook challenge. And how's it been going? It started off pretty good, I felt. I felt like first week was pretty good. I felt pretty good about it, even though I kept wanting to get a little bit looser. And last week after I talked to you last, it started off fairly good, I think. But it wasn't long before I started feeling like I was crashing and burning. And I ended up with a couple pages I really hated. And I think I showed, you might have seen a little glimpse of it at the very beginning where I was covering one of those pages up with some acrylic paint because I just can't take it. And to be honest with you, the struggle is that I couldn't even let it stay up on my Instagram feed. I did share it in my stories, but I didn't want to see it in my full feed. I don't know why. I like for my Instagram feed to have a cohesive sort of a look to it, but it did not. It didn't fit in. And so even though I was hoping to have every day represented in the feed itself, I just couldn't. I couldn't. The struggle is real. It's fine. So this week I just wanted to give you an update and share with you what I've been doing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But we'll see. I'm getting close to the 30th day, so that will be great once I get past it. But I do kind of have my reward first set up, my first reward set up. And I am anxious to share with you what that will be when that day arrives. So, how sweet soul. I can do it. Yes, I can accomplish my goal. So, I'm going to share that with you now.
Okay. All right. So this was where we left off last week. And there's probably not going to be that many pages to actually show you, but that was the completion of the drawing that I did. This is a little bit more realistic, but really wasn't happy with it. And then I doodled this. It has more of an animated look. There's someone I follow online. My nails look terrible because I've got paint all over it, but it's okay. This will be short. Someone I follow online who just lost her little black kitty, and she did a memorial at the end of one of her videos, and she had the cat was laid in the grass, and I thought it looked really pretty, and so that's why I added him there. And that's Sarah in Scotland. That's that particular creator on YouTube. But I just was inspired to add it, and I thought it looked really cute. I like black cats and black bunnies and all that sort of thing. I hope you can see this. Let me zoom you out a little bit, maybe. Okay. All right. And so then the next thing I did, so this is from Map Crunch. And I just pulled up Map Crunch and I selected some of the Nordic countries like Sweden, Norway, that sort of thing. And I can't remember if this was Sweden or Norway, but I found this place online. And I was drawn in by the angles, all the perspectives. This whole row of houses, they just went off into the distance. And the angles of the road and the trees were lined up this way. And so all that perspective and these trees right here pulled me in, so that's why I ended up doing that one. And then this one, I don't know if you like it, but I love it. This one I love so much. And the reason why, so this was for my own reference photo. I'll see if hopefully this will you can see it, I hope. There was some ducks in a pond near my work, and I took some pictures of it. And I was going to put both ducks in, but I had done this one over here. And I'd added some of the details of the grass and stuff. And you can tell she's in the water. It's got the water ripples and stuff. And then there's this pile of sticks and stuff over here. But the rest, it's just the reflection of the trees. And it was so green that day. It had been raining so much. And I love the details of her and the abstract of the rest of the space. So this is actually one of my favorite pieces that I've done thus far, completely, probably, to be honest. And then the monstrosity is on the next page. So, and it's sticking together because it's still drying. So I had done these, and I will show you again my little book. Where is it? This is my crazy little book. And this was the reference page that I was trying to duplicate. Something, not exactly, I didn't want to use the same little doodles that I had done, but I wanted this little network of puzzles combined with this outline, and I tried variations on that, but I think what happened in the larger sketchbook, maybe I made these too big because it overwhelmed. It probably would have been better if I had made them a lot smaller. Maybe it would have worked then, so maybe it will work later. And I think it's really cute in here, but these are all just from my imagination. Anything that came to mind, I just did. And like I said earlier, this whole book is like a doodle journal, and it's probably about 10 years old. And it's got all kinds of stuff in here. And I'll probably share this at some point, but this is a kind of very personal journal. But I do love this pocket size, and if you're just getting started with journaling, it's like someone reached out to me and said, like, how do I get started? Or I would like to do this, but I think she was feeling a little intimidated. And it's true, it is very intimidating. You can doodle, I think, and I think this is a great size if that's something you want to do. Something small like this. This is not a moleskin, which I regretted not getting a real moleskin, because it has fallen apart, and I've had to like glue it back together and stuff. And my moleskin little sketchbooks this size have done much better, but this one had a ton of pages. But I think it would have been better to have had the better quality book and paper and everything. So if you're going to do that, that would be my suggestion. If you like this little size, I love the fact that you just throw it in a purse or your bag or whatever, and it can be with you all the time if you want, and you can just sketch on every break or lunch break or anywhere you go. It's just easy. So anyways, that's what that was all about. But I tried to duplicate it here. I tried to be inspired by something that was old of mine, and I really hated it. I kept trying. You can see the lines that I kept trying to do things, and then I just had to cover it up because I didn't want it to be here next to my favorite book. But to be honest with you, it might be kind of weird, but I kind of like it right now. I don't know if I'm going to do anything else to this. I could just paste something in here, but I kind of like the background. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just, because it is very acrylic-y, and I will say, like, that's one thing I want to tell you. I see a lot of people with journals who are constantly having to use paper or wax paper or something in between their pages, and that's because they use acrylic, and I think for the most part, and they don't water it down enough, and it's still sticky. And I did add water to this, so I'm hoping that I won't have that kind of problem with this, especially once it's completely dry. So we'll see. But right now, that's what it looks like. And then I really like this. I decided to do some little blackbirds, although it looks very illustrative, and then some of my attempts to fix the other page kind of messed it up, but that's fine. But I thought these little birds were cute. This little guy is probably my favorite. I think he's got a lot of personality. I've had friends tell me that they like this guy a lot. I like blackbirds anyways. They're, whether it's a raven or a crow or blackbirds, aside from the fact that they eat too much at my feeder, I have blackbirds that look like this with yellow eyes, and I have what we have here that are called here in Florida is boat-tailed grackles. Come and with red-winged blackbirds, that's another thing I get, and they eat too much. They try to steal everything from all the other birds, but they are beautiful and lots of fun. So I did that page, and this was another page that I did that I hated. I absolutely hated this so much. I hated it more before. Her dress was more of a cornflower blue, and then I went over it with black. I still tried to make it look like there was a lighter part and darker parts where the light is affecting the dress, the values of the dress. And I never did go back and fix this pile of grass and maybe put in some flowers and stuff. Maybe I will. But I hated it so much the night I did it. I posted it on my stories and I told people I hated it. Gosh, I mean, maybe that's soul bearing. Maybe it's like normally people don't say how much they hate their spreads in their journals or their work in general, but can't help it. I just had such, it was, what I felt about this felt like it was very, and I like cute stuff, don't get me wrong, but it seemed saccharine-y, sweet, fake, and I love period films and that sort of thing, and that's like when I saw this is a YouTuber that I follow, that she was out in a field of beautiful yellow flowers, and it inspired me to do this. It's not an exact copy. I made alterations to what she had shown briefly on her channel, and I think it's the Cottage Fairy. And anyways, it just ended up being not my favorite thing, and that's fine. Let's move on. Okay, and that's all I did in this journal thus far. I did go back in the back. I was playing, so I've gotten some colored pencils, and I like doing patches of 3 related colors and just kind of blending them. And here I was just playing with watercolor pencils and some pastels and then watercolor, just seeing like what kind of results I would get. So I do like the back of the books to just play. I got about splatters and things. And then this is the newer journal that I've got. So this is a Talons, let's see, why does it call it this? Talons Art Creation? Yeah. So it's a small size, but these books are really cheap versus this is a Strathmore, which I love the Strathmore paper. I have the softbound ones too. This one, I don't know if it tells you what size it is. It's just a standard size, and I'll put it down below in the comments area, or in the details. But it's a 500 series mixed media paper, and it's nice and thick. It is really good paper. I like it a lot. Although you probably don't get as many pages, but I like it. This guy I'm not sure about. So I've heard other people talk about him. Well, I will say I do like about him is that he's cheap. These Talons books, I think they're made in China. Oh, so much paint on me. But the paper's not great. It's thinner paper. And I used the back again to play with markers. I have some Tombow markers, and I was just seeing like what kind of results you would get. If you would get bleeding, certain markers I used did bleed, so I knew I couldn't use those. The Tombow markers did not bleed, which I really liked. And then I also tried some watercolors, and I realized, okay, I can't use watercolor in here, at least not directly on the paper. Not even, and what I usually do is not just watercolor, but gouache. I often use watered down gouache in combination with watercolor, but the whole paper started to deconstruct, and kind of, that's why it looks kind of speckly. Which it doesn't look bad, it's just, you just have to realize that. But what I did try, and I know you can't really see this, is that I took a little bit of Liquitex acrylic paint and put it on here. And I'm going to see if that makes it easier to draw on, and maybe use a little bit of water with it. So we'll see. That's something for later. But the first thing I did in this book was I did another map crunch. So I found this church online, and being so traumatized by those last 2 pages that I showed you that I hated so much, I decided to do just a sketch this time. And so it's a little church. I don't know how I really feel about it too much. There's something about the perspective of it, not the perspective of my church specifically, but the perspective of the way that the Google camera was looking at it. Something looks stretched or off or something. But I like these trees back here, and I like the water tower, and the flag's okay. I think you can understand why everything's going on, but it's nothing to write home about. And then that's about it. I did start something else, but this is something I'll be working on. I got to do some extra things to it, and I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is. And then tonight I'll be working on my next drawing. So that's where I am this week. Okay guys, that wraps up this week's video. I hope that you are enjoying my sketchbook challenge, me sharing my struggles with you. I hope that it has inspired you to get your own sketchbook and maybe try to do your own challenge as well. It doesn't have to be 90 days. You can just do a week, you could do a month, and you don't have to do full color spreads or anything. You could do 1 page, you could just do doodles, whatever you want to do. Contour drawings, you could just sketch while you're on the couch watching TV. It doesn't have to be too professional looking or like a finished piece. And I kind of am hoping that my stuff moves more that way as well as I go forward. So anyways, I will see you next week. Alright. Annyeong. Have a good week. Be well. Take care. Bye.
Maybe there is a star